Hello, this is Kevin Benedict, Mobility Analyst, reporting this week live from Las Vegas here at SAP's TechEd 2012. That's a mouthful. And I have the opportunity of being here with Mico Yuk.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi there. You are the guru and SAP mentor around business intelligence and business analytics. So I wanted to pin you down and ask you a few questions. How do you see mobility and analytics working hand in hand, or do you?
I do. So one of the things that we see today with business analytics, business intelligence, Kevin, is that IT is struggling tremendously with user adoption. And when I say user adoption, I mean projects are being completed, but business users, the user adoption rate is literally tanking. And one of the things that I see is because of the accessibility and the ease of accessibility of mobility, if IT embraces it more, I think that they'll see a spike in user adoption.
Wow. So where do you see business processes being re-engineered and changed because of accessibility now?
So I think that, first of all, the go-to-market, right? So a lot of times when we think about desktop, we just meeting with Sanjay Poon and this topic came up, when we think about desktop, there is so much more flexibility in terms of building these massive systems. The beauty about the mobility, whether it's your tablet, your 7-inch screen, or your 3-inch screen, is that you so have to confine your message on what you're delivering. It helps to simplify the process. And I really honestly think what I love about mobility is that it's forcing IT as a whole and business users to think more in chunks of data, which is how the world is consuming analytics anyway, as opposed to being able to create these incredibly complicated systems that no one can track. So I think it's very cool.
So Mico, you spend a lot of time with the Fortune 200 companies working on business intelligence and business analytics. How are they using mobility in those contexts? What kind of use cases are you seeing?
Well, first of all, it's a buzzword in most companies. So to be honest with you, these companies are big. The churn is big. There's paradigm shifts, right? So like real-time data or cloud, a lot of times it starts off as a buzzword. We need mobility. But what we're seeing, honestly, is, I want to say, slow adoption. So we're seeing a lot of the big companies taking small departments, like let's say there's sales. Sales is always a very, very quick use case, right? All our guys on the field need to be able to see their data. And we're seeing them take small use cases, and then they'll probably test up with a few top managers, some analytics on the devices, and then they roll it out. What I'm excited and waiting to see is when will they get to the point where, one, they're rolling out multiple devices, meaning bring your own device, and I want to talk to you about that, because right now we see very, horizontal rollouts. It's just one device. Do you agree, Kevin? The way the world's going, it's give me what I have on my own device. So I think that the market is maturing, but we just are seeing little silos versus real adoption in the bigger companies. I think it's, I know I want it. I know it's coming, but I'm not quite sure outside of my sales force or outside of my field guys or outside of my executives, why does my manager need this at his desk? He sits at his desk every day, and that's something that I think has to change.
So when you're in talking to these companies about analytics and business intelligence, do they ask you about mobility?
Of course. Oh, of course. I mean, you get the top: social, cloud, mobility is one, right? Again, everybody hears about it. Everybody wants it. What they are struggling with is, how do I apply it? When is it a good use case? My comment to them is, instead of trying to find a specific use case, you guys are having user adoption problems. Why don't you take your existing content and repurpose it and then check your user adoption and then build from there? I think the approach is incorrect. They just need to constantly find this little chunk of use case. You have content, give it to people on their devices. Watch your end user rate spike, and then say to them, now that you've had this access, and I know I built this for a more complicated frame, how can we condense this down to make it more useful? That's where I think the opportunity exists, not just use cases. I'm tired of use cases.
Mico, I want to thank you so much for sharing with
you,
all of us today.